Welcome back, everybody. Well, The Sopranos won an unbelievable 21 Emmys, 5 Golden Globes over its 6-season run, and many people argue it is one of the greatest television shows of all time.
Now, two of the show's stars, Michael Imperioli and Steve Schirripa, are revealing the Soprano family secrets in their surprising, funny, and honest new book, Woke Up This Morning, the definitive oral history of the Sopranos. And one of them is joining us today. Steve, welcome to the show. We're very excited.
Oh, thank you, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for having me. Where are you? Where are we talking from?
We're coming from Toronto.
Oh, you're in Toronto. Nice. I love Toronto.
So back in '99, Steve, of course, when The Sopranos premiered, I was working at an Italian restaurant in Toronto, and every Sunday night, the actual boss would leave the restaurant, go to his house around the corner just to watch the episode and then come back. And then, of course, I was working, so I couldn't watch it. But when the DVDs came out, I became a massive fan. And now in this digital world, it feels like there's this whole new generation of viewers that are falling in love with the show. Have you had any surprise encounters with a fan who's sort of a young fan who's picked up on the glory of the show?
Well, Michael did. You know, we talk about it in the book. Michael was walking through Central Park, and a kid from Scotland was with his dad. He recognized Michael and rolled up his pant leg, and he had a tattoo of Christopher Moltisanti, who Michael played on the show, on his calf. And Michael got to talking to him, and he told him, you know, how big the show is. Now, this is back in 2019. My daughter's, my younger daughter, when she was in college, all her friends were watching it. So kids in their late teens, their 20s, kids that were too young to watch it with their parents back when it first aired, started watching it. And I think the reason it resonates so much because the show is that good.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Well, you and Michael decided you were not going to hold anything back, that you were going to be all in with this book. But is there anything something that you reveal in the book that maybe you can share with our viewers that fans would be really surprised to read?
Well, there's a story, I think it was season 4, and it was Christopher and Tony Soprano were throwing the body of Ralphie off a cliff in the show. So they went out there, they were out in the woods, they lit it, they were in the middle of the woods, the forest, a whole big to-do, and they rehearsed it, and then they said, okay, let's wait for it to get dark, and then we'll shoot it. So Michael and Jim went back to Jim's trailer and they drank a bottle of wild turkey. And they were staggering drunk, falling down drunk. And they got so scared that they chained their legs to a tree so they wouldn't fall off the cliff.
They wouldn't fall.
So that's one story, but there's a ton of them.
And the book, Steve, it was inspired by your incredibly popular podcast with Michael, Talking Sopranos. And you guys get some celebrities on this podcast because they are super fans.
We had Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live. We had Alec Baldwin, Ricky Gervais, who is just brilliant. And he had visited the set. He's a big fan. And, coming from him, the show is really smart. We didn't watch it for many years, me and Michael. It's very funny. It's very tragic. We like these people. They're bad people. Sometimes we forget. They're bad people that do bad things. They're murderers. Every once in a while, when the audience gets too comfortable, David Chase shows you how ruthless they can be. The show gets very dark towards the end. Tony Soprano becomes a very dark character. Like I said, we hadn't seen it since it aired. So, the show is just brilliant. That's why all these years later, we're still talking about it.
And you do keep bringing up Tony Soprano himself, James Gandolfini. In fact, you and Michael dedicate your book to him. What was it like working with him? And is there something that he taught you guys or the cast professionally or personally that you can recollect?
Well, Jim cared. He cared about the show. He wasn't Tony Soprano. That's, a lot of people made that mistake. He was complete opposite. He was kind of like a big hippie. Uh, he really cared about the crew and the cast, and if you were happy with the work, and he would say, "You want another take? You happy with that?" Uh, he would help you in those ways. We also monetarily, I've talked about a million times. He gave each one of us $33,333 each after his contract dispute. Uh, he paid off people's mortgages anonymously. He gave people money. Uh, he went to a funeral of a police officer that he did not know. The wife had contacted him and said, "My husband was a huge fan of you and the show." And Jim just went to the funeral. He went to the wake all by himself, just walked in and paid his respects.
After 6 seasons, The Sopranos comes to an end with probably what is still the most famous and also polarizing endings to a television show ever. I'm talking, of course, about the cut to black. It's been dissected, debated. You either love it or you hate it. Everyone's got an opinion on it. I think it's a masterpiece. But Steve, what's your take on it?
I always thought Tony Soprano lived. I thought what you saw is what you saw. I didn't think anything. I think there were red herrings, the guy in the members only jacket. But, David has given a few interviews, and now I wonder. And our last podcast is December 20th, and he's coming on. And I'm going to ask him flat out. I don't know if he'll answer me, but I'm going to, come on, man, stop waffling. Give me the answer. So we'll see. But Michael Imperioli thinks Tony Soprano's dead. I'd like to think he's alive and well with his family. And I'm not quite sure. I'd be sad if they say he's dead, but
But hopefully we'll
know.
find out December 20th with that podcast.
I
I'll be
hope
listening.
so.
Steve, it's just been incredible talking with you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. You guys are so polite. You're so nice. The Canadian way. I love it.
The book is called Woke Up This Morning, The Definitive Oral History of The Sopranos. It's available everywhere right now. Please get a copy. You won't regret it. We'll be right back.